Grab a seat, sip some wisdom, and stay a while. This is the Prosperity Lounge, where growth gets personal. Step inside, we're breaking chains.
Hey everybody, good evening. Let's see if we can get this working here. Always a fun time getting started behind the scenes. All right, turn my volume down. Perfect. Looks like my camera's working. Looks like my mic is working. Let's check on the guest. All right, camera's working. Let's check on your audio. Let's say
Hello.
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 Perfect. Love it. Got Jessica Strunk with me tonight. We're gonna have a good time.
I'm a host.
Actually, I tried it before. Like, on the bottom of the mic with somebody.
So funny.
It's gonna pull right up. This is going to be real.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so this is gonna be a good episode, guys. I'm excited for it. I don't know if you are.
I'm nervous.
You're always nervous. You're gonna do just fine. I have plenty of faith in you. Let's take this here and slide this out of the way so we've got good stuff going on here. Yeah, I think we're good. Yeah, I nothing to be nervous about. We'll walk through this pretty easily.
Okay.
I do want to give everybody a heads up that probably have to have some of these near you. It's not because you're sick or anything, but I have a feeling there's going to be some tears.
What?
Mine, I'm talking about. You told me your story, and I don't want to tease for everybody, but it's a lot of parallels. People on this path, so that's it for the tease. Gotta wait for the top of the hour to start. I think we started too. Vance is calling on me. He's like, "You gotta get started." Everybody, thanks for joining. And we get started. I'm going to take you off the air just for a second. So you can relax when we do this. There we go. Here's the theme song. Welcome to the Prosperity Lounge, where hope meets freedom and growth gets personal. I'm your host, Joey Ruffalo. What if the lowest point in your life wasn't the end, but the start of something greater than you could imagine? For me, man, that moment came shivering under a cold shower from a garden hose without heat or lights, staring at $370,000 in debt, wondering if I'd ever climb out. For my guest tonight, it was addiction and a rock bottom so deep, she didn't think she could see a way forward. I'm Joey Ruffalo, a best-selling author, business growth strategist, and someone who knows that prosperity is about far more than your bank account. It's about freedom in every area of your life. Each week, we bring real people, real stories, and real tools to help you take your next step towards breakthrough. Tonight, I am joined by Jessica Strunk. You might know her as Gracie's mom from Baked by Grace. Man, that was our first episode. Fantastic. Or you may know her as a top-selling producer in East Tennessee real estate. But what I admire most is the way she shows up for people, her encouragement, her heart, and her faith. So let's pull up and welcome Jessica to the lounge. Let's get you on there. Perfect. Jessica, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Wonderful. So if you're tuning in tonight, live on 96.3, thank you very much. If If you're tuning in on YouTube at the Prosperity Lounge, thank you. If you're watching on Facebook, thanks. Join in the comments. Let's have some fun. Let's try to keep. It's going to be a deep episode, so I say have some fun. I'm trying to keep it light, but this is going to be some good stuff. Thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
When I reached out to you, it was about something totally different, a totally different topic. And you wrote back and said, no,
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about
I
that.
said nobody wants to hear about real estate.
I was thinking everybody wants to. The market's crazy, the interest rates, pick some brain, what's a good time to buy, show me some properties. And you're like, no,
Mm-mm.
I do not want to talk about real estate. Instead, I want to talk about my journey in this really deep topic. And I was like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah,
And I admire you for that. Thank you again.
it's a long time coming.
Yeah, it is. We don't realize when. Is this? Well, I'm going to ask you. Is this your first time telling this publicly?
Mhm.
Okay. When we're going through stuff, we don't talk to people about it. When we come out of it, we don't talk to people about it. I went through the same thing with our debt issue.
Mhm.
For a long time. I mean, people around us kind of knew, but for a long, I didn't own it.
Yeah, it's a
And,
shame
you know,
factor. Mhm.
God, is it really?
Yeah.
And here I am trying to coach people out to get out of debt, and then kind of tell people, yeah, I was $370,000 in debt at one point.
Mhm.
I got all the answers of how to get in.
Mhm.
I kind of know how to get out, but I got all the answers how to get in. But so you sit there and you think about, am I worthy of telling the story? And I imagine that you are a little nervous right now about how this is going to go.
Very.
Okay. Well, every time we've talked, every time I've seen you, every time we've interacted, you've had this way of making me, my wife, and everybody around feel seen and valued.
Mhm.
Where does that come from?
It comes from a place where when I was at my kid, I did not feel seen or valued or anything of the sort.
Mm.
And so I don't ever want other people to feel that. And so there's just something in me, like if I see where I can help somebody, it's like I dive head first. I can't do it.
Our kindred spirits that way. That's the reason why I got to do what I was doing. I was going through the process alone and thinking, I don't want anybody else to be alone with the same process.
Mhm.
What can I do to value them, walk by them, be
Mhm.
nice to them? But sometimes, to my detriment,
Yeah.
it's too much. Like it's so heartfelt and heart-led that I get so emotionally invested that sometimes it's true.
Yeah, that's happened.
No, okay. Yeah, it's definitely something. When you've been through hard seasons, you see people differently.
Mhm.
You start recognizing when they're hurting, when they're doubting themselves.
Mhm.
But you also start seeing the good in people that they didn't see themselves.
Mhm.
So it's not a lot lately too.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when you go through something really bad, God teaches you throughout the process. God teaches you how He sees you.
Hmm.
And it gives you the ability to see others the way that you remember He saw you. So when I look at other people, I'm seeing them through the eyes of God, not through the eyes of myself. If that makes sense.
That makes sense. I'm sitting on that for a second because it's powerful. All right. I'm going to play ignorant here. Can you say it again for me? Because I want to make sure I heard it right.
When I see people,
Yes.
it's like I can pick up if they're struggling. I can
Mhm.
pick up if, okay, that person needs to be told that, they look nice that day, or just any little thing. It's just these nudges, and people go through battles. They get low on themselves,
Mhm.
and God sees them differently. The human aspect of us, we want to immediately throw stones, judge people, people.
Mm.
That's what we do. And then the way God sees us is totally different. He sees us with love and affection and, like a little baby that's just been born before their innocence is stolen.
Sure.
That's how he still sees them.
And there's something about a positive interaction in somebody's day, even if it's just one positive interaction, something that they can lean back on and remember and build on. I was talking to somebody the other day about, their struggles, and we came up with this thing where they were describing all the good things about themselves, and it was almost like it was the first time they were hearing themselves say it.
Yeah.
And we came up with this thing where, okay, you know what? Every morning when you get up, you say these 4 things to yourself in the mirror out loud.
Yeah.
And let's start with that.
Yeah.
And let's see how your day starts and progresses, how that feeling goes. And I think, I think that's going to be hopefully something that's going to be positive for them moving forward. But it's those positive affirmations, it's positivity. It's when we're doing things in, we're in the process of getting out of debt or on a plan, and we have these positive momentum things happening. Remember the positive. Oh, I did that. If I did that, I can do this.
Yeah.
But it's about doing the thing. So the hardest thing is the getting started part.
Yeah. Yeah. Flipping the mindset.
Oh gosh, for sure. So we talked about encouragement, and I'll give a little insight here. When we had Gracie on, we talked about her reading the Bible all the way through, and I think it was her third time of that.
Her third time this year.
Third time, okay. And I had thrown out something that said, I have not done that.
Yeah.
And then you messaged me about a week or two later and said, I have something for you. And I came to the farmer's market and you handed me a daily Bible for men to read once a day.
Yeah.
And that encouragement. And because of that, it was the first time in probably outside of the mandatory holiday and this and everything else, it was probably the first time in a long time I went to church.
Yeah.
It was last past weekend. And I felt compelled to go. And it was just, I'm not overly, I would say I'm not overly religious in a sense. I grew up in Catholic church, modern day Catholic, Easter, Christmas, whatever else you can, and pray that oversleeps in the morning and you miss mass on Sunday.
Yeah.
You can sleep in. God was good. But it was something that I talked. Well, let me back up a second. When my dad passed away a couple of years ago, I went back into a dark spot, dark place, and my wife suggested, you got to talk to somebody. And in that process, we mapped out. It was like 10 things in your life, rank them from 1 to 10. So where are your friends from? Spirituality, your career, your relationships with others, relationships with your wife, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And for me, when we first started, spirituality was like 9.
Yeah.
For me, it was right above a relationship with drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
And the second part of the equation was, where do you want these to be? And for me, spirituality, I think, was 1 or 2. And I said, man, I got a long way to go.
It's the most important.
I got a long way to go.
But you're going to get there.
Bro, it's a long
You're on your
journey.
way already.
Journey, yes.
You already started.
Exactly. I started down the path for sure. So there's a turning point for everyone. They always talk about people hitting a rock bottom. I'm in the shower getting blasted with cold water, wondering how the heck did I end up here? Your rock bottom was a lot different. Paint us a picture of what was going on for you that got you to the point where you said, all right, I'm done. What's next?
I was going through a divorce. I was in this apartment shack. I don't even know what you call it. It was a decent apartment, I guess, in back then, probably not now, but I was abusing alcohol because that time, I had always been the A honor roll kid. I had always been, my parents always encouraged me. And it was the first time that I had just massively failed. And so, my marriage failed. I was an alcoholic, non-admitting at the time. And I just felt, why am I here? So
and that snowballs with deeper
it
and deeper
snowballed
and more and more.
receiver. At the worst, I was doing 2/5 bottles of vodka a day, to the point where if I was going to the bathroom, it was blood because I was urinating. That's how bad
Oh my gosh.
I was doing it. And then I couldn't talk to anybody. I wouldn't even talk to my mom and dad. They would call me. They would leave me voicemails. I still have some of the saved voicemails where my mom would call and she had that mama's card. She just wanted to know I was okay. And I would ignore the call just to get the voicemail.
Yeah.
But she would just say, I love you.
Yeah. Well, hold on a second, guys. No, I told you. Yeah.
And I had this mattress. I didn't even have a bed frame. I had a mattress on the floor that I was sleeping on. My lights had been cut off at that point. I was just in this apartment, alcohol, and I would cry, and I would pray to Jesus, and I would say, I can't do this. I need you to help me. And he told me, he's the only one. It's the only way that I can be here today. It's really on him.
What was the moment that you felt your prayers were heard, your cries were heard? Jesus.
My mom begged me to go back to church. I did not want to go back to church because it's part of that shame, guilt, shame, you're afraid of, church people, quote unquote, of judging you, am I going to be condemned? They're going to look at me and they're going to say, oh, she's, doing this and, why is she in the church house? That was my thought process. And it wasn't realistic. It's just Satan putting thoughts in your head. But that's what I thought, so I didn't want to go. And eventually, my mom is very persistent. My mom and dad both. And she taught me into it. And I went to church. And I think Damon Hill sung that morning. And I felt God talking to me. My heart started beating on my chest, and I was like, I gotta get to the altar. And I went to the altar and prayed and asked him, you gotta fix this. I can't do it. And things started changing then. The desires started to get less. I wasn't an overnight success story. I didn't. I would like to say, after that prayer, I went back and never drank again. That's not true. I did. I didn't do it every day. It got less and less, but it took time. It wasn't like a switch that I could just turn off. People say if they wanted to stop, they'd stop. It's not that easy. It's not that easy at all.
No.
Wish it was.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
Yeah. I had a thing I talked about a while ago about that thriving isolation. any kind of addiction thrives in isolation,
Yeah,
and that's where Satan gets you.
yeah. If
Isolate
if
you
he can isolate you from everybody, then he's got you to himself. If he can talk you into being by yourself and going down that road alone, then you don't have anybody else telling you, this isn't true.
Mhm.
This is actually who you are, and it just spirals.
Used to be like cartoons with an angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other. In those situations, it's the devil in both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
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 When you think of that season now, what stands out most for you? What circumstances, like the circumstances you were in, the way you felt inside, what stands out most for you?
Repeat that.
And that when you think about that time frame,
Mm-hmm.
what stands out most for you in that time frame? Is there a certain circumstance, feeling, emotion that connects to that?
Mm. You're not too worried that.
Okay, no worries. It's okay. Back then, so let's talk about back then, for example. Talk about a typical day. What were some of the moments that you tried to power through or pretend that things were okay? Was there any specific time where you had to like really mask your addiction or the mask you were trying to?
Oh yeah, I was functioning. Yeah,
Okay.
I would go to work and I would hide it in the bottle. I would hide it in bottles under the cabinet. Drink at work. I would fill my cup up before I left.
Mm-hmm.
Go back home so that I was already prepared. It was like the addiction was that bad. I would prepare and like if it was a Sunday, I remember this one Sunday. That was back when you couldn't get alcohol on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
So they were short proposed. And I drove to Kentucky just to get alcohol.
Determined.
That's how bad I was addicted.
Well,
Because I didn't want to face realities in my life. And so if I could just turn to the alcohol, it dulled it, it numbed it, it took the pain away, the familiarity gone, I could ignore it.
wow. Wow. Did you ever have time, now this is you seeing television, commercials, great movies, hiding like you're hiding in the toilet, you're hiding everywhere, you're hiding bottles around the house, kind of thing?
Yeah, I would hide them in my car. My mom got a phone, conspired with somebody, got a phone, wrapped it in a baby diaper, silenced it, and they put my 360 on the phone and hid it under this, like, in the car you can pull the seat up.
Okay.
They hid it under the seat of that so that they could track me so they always knew where I was.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's
Nowadays, it's easy with little air tags.
Yeah.
Man,
Then it was, they got the phone and then
that's
they put
crazy.
my 360 on it and tracked me.
That's crazy. Mention your mom quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's your mom's name?
Doris.
Doris. I love Doris.
Yeah.
She's always commenting and hearting my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Doris. Appreciate you for supporting us. And I see what she gets her encouragement from.
Yeah.
You had mentioned feeling like everyone would be better off without you.
Mm-hmm.
Was that something that you kept hidden?
I
Or
kept it
did you go
hidden.
around and see the signs?
I think my mom and dad saw the signs. There was a day I had been drinking,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a day I drove to my parents' house. I knew where my dad's gun was, and so I took it. I drove back to my apartment. I drank, I cried, I prayed, And I sat there with that gun on the bed. And I thought, I was talking to God and I said, it doesn't matter because I'm not worthy. My life's a mess. This is where this is going. I am this person. And there was a knock on the apartment door. And I thought in my head, who is here? And I got to open the door and it's my mom and dad sitting there. And he knew I took his gun.
Mm.
He didn't have any evidence of it. It was just a thought that he had that I had took his gun and he went to check where it was going. And I drove to where I was at the apartment, knocked on the door.
If that's not powerful as far as
That's God.
God getting involved.
Yeah. That's God.
Wow.
And that was before, that was probably right before I decided to take my mom to the bus and go to church with her.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about being isolated, isolation. In that process, you're living this heavy secret.
Mm-hmm.
The more you hide it, the heavier it gets. Did you feel that same kind of weight addiction? Just that heaviness of hiding it?
Yeah. Yeah. Addicts, that's the thing people don't understand. Addicts don't want necessarily to be an addict. They don't know how to turn it off. They don't have, a lot of them don't have support systems. A lot of them don't have a mom like I have that's going to track me down, to make sure I'm safe.
Yeah.
Some people don't have that.
Were there times you pushed people away trying to help because it was easier to
Oh, yeah. My mom took the brunt of that. My mom and dad both. And I say my mom a lot, but when I say my mom, it's really mom and dad. But yeah, I pushed them away a lot. I wouldn't talk. They would call me. I would ignore it. I would listen to the voicemails, and their voicemails would make me cry. My dad, he probably doesn't know this, but he wrote on a little sticky note. He had fixed a plate of food, and he wrote on the sticky note, "I love you, yes, dash dad," and I saved it because it meant something to me.
I love
So
So that goes to the next question there, seeing moments where God was already at work, even though you might not have recognized it at the time. It's these little positive affirmations to let you know that people are still around you.
yeah,
You're not isolated. You're not alone.
yeah, it's like I would think I was alone. I would think that I was hidden. I would go park in a parking lot somewhere, and I would think I was alone. And here they show up, and for a long time, I couldn't figure out how my mom always knew where I was. I thought it was so weird. I was like, how does this woman know where I'm at all the time? And it was later down the road, after all this is over, she tells me the story of the phone. I'm like, and it clicked. I'm like, that's how you knew where I was all the time.
So she's giving the secrets out. So Grace, if she's listening, knows the secrets are
Yeah.
This is coming.
Yeah. Yeah, hands down.
Yeah, either that way or there's going to be something just a little nano injected into her. And
Yeah.
That's what she said all the time. If you're hearing this story, you're thinking, I don't know if I can make it out. I want you to know you don't have to walk it alone. That's why we created the Prosperity Lounge community. It's free. It's full of resources, encouragement, and people who get it. Come by, check out our 8-step action guide to stop living paycheck to paycheck. Check out our prosperity planner tool, and just check out a place to connect. Make a connection. There's always going to be somebody in there to talk to. You're never alone in this process, whether you're going through stuff financially, you're going through stuff personally, you're going through stuff with your business, whatever. Make a connection. Come on in. We're here for you. We're here to walk with you and guide you. So join us at prosperitylounge.com, and we'd love to have you there. So you're in that season. you hit that rock bottom. What were some of the first steps you had towards change? You mentioned going back to church,
Mm-hmm.
and that first big step. Wow. Walking in the door is one thing, feeling it is another.
Yeah.
About people, the thought process of what people might judge you.
Yeah.
And the first thing I was thinking when you said that a while ago, I was thinking, man, if that was the criteria to attend church,
Yeah.
the pews would be empty.
Yeah. Yeah. For real.
It's always that glass house thing, right?
Yes.
Man, throw a stone.
Yeah. I thought like they're gonna judge me. They're gonna, I'll be the topic of everybody's lunch table. Is what my thought process was. And
Yeah.
but it was totally opposite. People shook my hand. You wouldn't know that I had to do anything. They treated me just like a normal person, and they had been praying for me. That's something I didn't know until after either. Is my mom had asked for requests so much, I guess. The whole church was praying for me.
So you came like,
Yeah.
finally, you're
Yeah,
here.
finally, she's here.
Praying person with
Yeah.
you. Oh man, when you experienced that, what was that feeling like?
I think Satan tries to tell us, it's that whole isolation thing you were talking about. He warps our mentality. He makes us think one thing and the truth is another because he's afraid and that's a lot of why he attacks you. If you're being attacked, that's a lot of the reason why he attacks you so hard is because there's something within you that God wants to get out in the world. And if he can stop you from getting there, then he has hindered them. It's not ever going to stop God's purpose, but he has hindered it through you.
Wow. Okay. So how do you reflect on what you think God's purpose for you is? Some people are encouragers, some people are what? Like, how do you know what your purpose is?
I think just find it along the way. I started reading the Bible, and it took when I started reading the Bible, I started seeing who God actually was. He wasn't some iron fist sitting on the throne. He actually loved me.
Mm-hmm.
He cared for me. And you can read different stories in the Bible. You got David, you got Paul, you got the woman that was caught in adultery, you got the woman at the well, and he loved all of them. And they had massive sin,
Mm-hmm.
and he loved them, and he used them as they would go on to be incredible people and impact a lot of people. And I think a lot of people, they get caught up in whatever it is, addiction is one of the vices. Don't let it stop you from moving forward because I think there's something within you that you just don't realize yet.
Yeah, there's something you said about being stuck in the mud.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Keep plowing forward.
Keep going.
Because sometimes your progress is like it's millimeters,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still progress.
Mm-hmm.
You're still further than when you first started.
Yeah, when I first started, I was like, okay, I'm at 1 day without drinking. Okay. And then it was, okay, I'm at 2 days.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I would fail. And then I would be like, okay, day 1. Okay.
You hang up one of those signs that says like 0 days. Like,
Yeah.
Those things. Okay.
But eventually, it got to where I didn't even think about it
Mm-hmm.
anymore. I don't think about it now. I don't put myself in situations. I know that it's still there. It was part of me. So I just don't go around it. I don't do it. And I don't think about it.
That's amazing. Because sometimes it's so hard to, slip back up, especially in certain situations. Some situations, it's. I'm gonna get called out here probably in the chat, and I don't want to say it's trivial because you can remove yourself from certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not there. Some addictions are harder to remove yourself from.
Mm-hmm.
Spending addictions. Well, got to spend money to live. So how do I control what I'm doing? It's not like you can be like, I have an alcohol addiction. I'm just going to have 1 drink a day.
Yeah.
You have to do nothing. You have to be not even near it sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's a lot. It's it's really hard
Yeah.
for anybody going through these type of struggles to navigate that process and normalize life for themselves. And I commend you to the utmost that you are who you are,
Mm.
because I don't, sometimes it takes going through something to be more of what you are.
Oh, I 100% agree with that. Yeah.
And I don't know if the Jessica who didn't go through the process and just a normal person would be sitting here next to me today.
She wouldn't be as encouraging. I used to be real shy like Gracie. I didn't want to talk at all.
Oh man. So you talked about encouragement toward Jesus, daily mercy, slipping and starting over, reading the Bible, discovering God's love. We talked about when we were buried in debt, those small steps in persistence. I make a little progress and I see something I want. Something would happen, go back to zero.
Yeah.
Being frustrated, but looking back and seeing how those small steps still move me forward. And you felt that too, towards freedom,
Mm-hmm.
stumbling, but not staying that long.
Yeah.
And you have to move forward.
That's the thing. God knows we're not perfect. He knows the flaws.
Mhm.
And he already knows the steps we're going to make before we even make them. And I think it's the pride within us as humans is we think we can hide it, or we think we can, dismiss it or whatever. And he just wants you to come to him.
Was there a moment when you were going through the process, going a couple of days, slipping back a couple of days, going here and there, when you said, or you knew, this time it's different?
Yeah, there was. It didn't feel good anymore.
Okay.
The last time I drank, I remember I drank, and the next morning I felt terrible, not because of a hangover or anything, but because God let you down again.
Mm.
I don't want to keep disappointing you because you paid too much for me. And
Wow.
it's gone.
How, as a parent now, how much do you share? How much are you, obviously, on radio, you're sharing a lot right now, but how much are you, I don't want to say running cover, that's the wrong phraseology I want to use, but how much are you exposed or shielding or allowing them to see as a parent?
They don't know like everything because obviously they're still young. They don't fully they wouldn't be able to understand. But they know that I went down a really bad road and that I made really bad choices. And I tell Gracie, me and you both, all you gotta do is keep God first. When I was your age, I didn't know about me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how he felt about me. But if you will store his words in your heart, then when the devil comes, he's going to come after you. Because you got something in you that needs to be out. He's going to come. When he comes, you're going to know what the truth is.
Mm. Wow. Okay. So I was going to ask what your advice for other parents would be, but I think that's it.
That's it.
Okay. Is there?
And you can that's the thing with other parents. The daily Bible is saying when I get you can read it as a family, read it together. Each day, take time about reading it, talk about it, ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
Learn together, and it's not only a bonding moment, but when you seek him, the Bible says, seek him, you shall find.
Mm-hmm.
So if you seek him, you're gonna find him.
So I know we're on the point now of the conversation where we are stepping towards, we're past where we were, we're moving towards recovery and faith. But I want to take a step back real quick because I was just thinking of something. When you decided, I guess it's for lack of a better word, decided to start drinking,
Yeah.
was this something that was something you experienced before when you were younger and went back to? Was there addiction in the family? Was there tendencies around there? Was it something that you saw and you're like, okay, this is what I'm going to do? Because a lot of times people just don't. Sometimes they're addicted. Sometimes there's a line of like addiction in the family. And it's easier to get addicted.
There is a line of addiction on my mom's side, and then my dad had trouble with alcohol.
Okay.
When I was 3, he gave alcohol up when he got saved.
Okay.
And he got saved, he got baptized, and everything again. When I got married when I was 17, I hadn't been past literally Mountain City. I think we've been to the beach one time. I was not experiencing anything. And he was in his 20s. He didn't have the same growing anxiety that alcohol was wrong with him. That's where it got released. I didn't know, family gene thing was going to pop its head up. Neither one of us did. I don't think he would have introduced it if he knew everything that transpired. But he did. And then when I couldn't handle it, he couldn't handle it either. He didn't know how to get out of it. And it was a mess.
So, for parents, what are some things that you could do for your child when you start seeing those same tendencies pop up? Now you recognize them, you can recognize them. What are some things that you suggest parents do in those situations? Obviously, we're talking, find faith, find something to pivot towards that you can see positivity in. Is there anything else that you recommend they start doing?
Like if they see,
They start seeing, they start isolating themselves. There's a couple things going on. It's like, it's the same path I went down.
Yeah. The worst thing you can do, you don't go down the condemnation road.
Okay.
You don't want to be, oh, you can do this, you can do that. Finger pointing. You just need to meet them where they are and love them.
That's so important.
Yeah.
Meet them where they are.
Meet them where they are.
Yeah.
And you can tell them the biggest thing you can do is honestly, if you don't have a testimony to share, find somebody who's got the testimony that can talk to them.
Just be supportive, find some resources for them. No blame.
No blame.
Support, walk with them.
Yeah, because they already feel, if they're going down that road, they already feel the shame and feel the condemnation. They're getting it from all sides. They don't need it from their support system too.
And that's a key word, the support system.
Yeah, you are.
Letting them know they have the support system.
And then the best thing you can do is it's out of your hands. At that point, if they're going down the same road I'm going down, only God can do it. All they can do is pray.
The only thing you can do is pray. I love that. It's a powerful phrase. So now we walk through everything. You walk through this whole process. You start getting out. You're on your pathway to recovery. I think I titled the episode "Addiction, Faith, Recovery, and Encouragement." So we did addiction, talked about faith. Now we're in recovery. Recovery leading to encouragement. How do you live out this mission now to encourage others?
I just want people to know how important they are. I want people to know that, it's more than just, marking a check box and climbing the success ladder. You're impacting people. And when you get to heaven, the Bible says we're portrayed in heaven, not on earth. We want you and a bunch of lovely stuff on earth. Be more focused about progressing the human. So.
I love that. I'm saying I love that a lot because you're giving great insights and things that I'm going to take away, and I know I'm going to think about a lot this weekend. I'm going to let people that are on the low inside. When you handed me my daily Bible reading,
Mhm.
there was a fantastic handwritten letter inside that I cried.
Aw.
I have it framed in
Aw.
the house, along with my friend's Gracie autograph
Oh, yeah.
newspaper. I love that. But you told a story there about encouragement, and it was something that I was struggling with doing the show here
Mm-hmm.
and living my life trying to help others and seeing, is this all worth it? Am I just doing this to 5 people?
Right.
The same 5 people every week coming up and saying hi. My mom, my wife, Vance,
Mhm.
your mom.
Yeah.
It's a lot, but we got a lot of people here tonight, so thank you all for joining. But you told a story about, I think it was the lepers,
Yeah.
and Jesus healing them,
Mm-hmm.
and only one coming back to say thank you, and it was the one that shouldn't have come back to say
Yeah.
thank you,
It's American.
but he came back to say thank
Mhm.
you. That enough was like to understand that there was a difference that was made. And I don't know if Jesus needed the affirmation.
Yeah, he did.
I don't think he's like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, what's going on here? He's saying thank you. He knew it, but for us sometimes it's doing things. I think they say doing things in the dark or doing things behind the scenes,
Mm-hmm.
and whether or not people. Let me take that back. There's certain types of people who do it for the affirmation,
Yeah.
and they feed off of it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some people who just do it to do it. I do think the majority of us are a little mix of both.
Yeah.
The reason we need the affirmation is we need the positivity to keep going.
To keep going. Exactly.
It's not so much to know that I made a difference, but know
Yeah.
that you heard me and say, hey, so people in the chat saying thank you. It's like, yeah, all right, cool. People are here. Appreciate you. Have fun. Thank you. But, I was thinking about that a lot, that encouragement aspect, and that I read that every so often. I have a picture of it on my phone that I look at and read it. So I will thank you for that. That all came from we probably have known each other a total of 4 hours.
Yeah.
Together, and I feel like we've known each other 40 years.
Yeah.
You're not 40. I'm just saying 40
Yeah.
years.
I'm close.
Don't date yourself. You're 29. I'm going on 29. But
There's I saw a picture on Facebook earlier this week, and it was this rock, this big boulder,
mhm.
and it was this massive tree had grown and split this rock in half. And then the reading said, never underestimate the power of planting a seed.
Oh,
So that tree, that little seed that, was planted, grew up to be this big old tree that split this rock wide open.
wow, man, I love that. That's powerful.
So,
It reminds you that people tell people that you can't do something, and like that seed for them getting their age, and they grow up to change the world.
yep.
Man, that tree. Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of something we realized after we got out of that was, freedom wasn't just about me.
Mhm.
It's about giving me the space to encourage others and help others succeed in ways that I couldn't before. Because I could, they have the old sayings, when people are younger and you're doing well, you're standing on the shoulders of giants.
Yeah.
People that came before you, people who paved this path to help others have a little bit easier time.
Yeah.
We get so wrapped up in me, that we don't realize that if I don't move forward a certain way, people behind me get stuck.
Yeah.
And you have been huge at moving forward and pulling people behind you. I mean,
I just really want to propel others. And that's the thing. If you push other people, then, you're going to go with them, but you're changing generations. You're changing their kids.
right.
people come in,
changing that family tree,
it's more about that
the legacy.
than anything.
Yeah. Well, what you've done so far and how you encourage Gracie, and I have not met your other daughter yet.
Yeah, Joe. She's
I've
Spitfire.
not met her yet, but I hear her chickens
Yeah, her chickens.
are a thing.
She's got chickens. She's trying to walk around and getting goats.
Goat.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's not even trying to talk it into her. She just tells them we're going to have goats,
Well, get goat milk out of it, I guess. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Oh yeah. So they live off the land.
yeah.
But what you've done and how just a fantastic young woman Gracie is.
Mhm.
I can imagine you Joe being the same way.
Mhm.
Yeah. He's laughing.
We call them for a reason.
Maintenance. Okay. You heard it there first, folks. We're calling her out. That goes a long way for you. And Ryan, who's sitting over there in the corner, your better half right now, who
Yeah.
propelled this journey of Gracie's when you needed 150 cakes.
Yeah, he had to sacrifice his oven. Entire kitchen, really.
Oven and 2 pounds and a couple of pairs of pants and a
Yeah.
belt. Probably.
Yeah, he tells her, he says, Gracie, I'm going to need 500 pounds.
Yep. What shows her stuff is good.
Yeah.
It's a walking billboard.
Yeah.
No, but what you're doing, how you're doing it, it's a breath of fresh air. And for someone like myself who doesn't have any kids, seeing that the next generation is going to be okay
Mm-hmm.
with people like her leading the way,
Mm-hmm.
I can rest easy.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you for that.
She loves people. Me and Joe do.
Well, when her chicken and goat business picks up, we're going to have her on the show.
Yeah. You heard that, Aaron.
There you go. Open invite.
Yeah.
How do you balance encouraging others with protecting your own mental and spiritual health?
It is tough sometimes. Kind of like in the letter I wrote to you. Some of that comes from personal, you encourage people, you do everything, you think you're helping them and getting them where they need to be. And, they take off and then you're still, left. You don't always get that thank you.
Mm.
You just have to learn to be okay with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So before we actually move on to the actual questions, because that's one of my favorite times, and we're getting close to the top of the hour already. I did have a question from the chat real quick here, and it goes back to what we're talking about. Is there ever anything that might trigger craving in you for a drink?
I'm sure there would if I went to a bar or something.
Putting yourself in a
Surrounded
situation.
myself with it, but I don't really think so now. Honestly, I'm not going to test it.
Right.
But I think I'm strong enough at the point now where it wouldn't bother me if I was in it, but I ain't going to test that.
Yeah. I'm not going to run my $1,000 savings to see if I feel like being in bed.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a good question. So now, the reason I wrote you in the first place to come on the show was to talk a little bit about real estate.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you a little bit about that. Your transition into real estate is sort of another natural way of helping others find their dream home and life, set up their roots and things like that. Was this sort of something that was just natural for you to get into and think about? Like
the sales part, kind of, I came from insurance, so I was selling life insurance and Medicare.
Mhm.
And so that part I was already used to. And then with real estate, it's really, I had to give it up. I didn't think I would be good at it. I had got my license, I had let it sit, didn't do anything with it, and then I met Ryan, we got married, and he's like, why aren't you doing anything with your real estate license, you know? And then I was like, no, I don't know, you know, it's just kind of a side thing. I'd rather do daycare. And I started doing real estate, and the first one that I did was expired listings.
Mhm.
And so I would help them where, you know, their houses had been on the market. They didn't have experience, it had expired. And then I would do it, sell it in 3 days.
Mhm.
You know, so I've been doing it 2 years in February actively. We've done 15 sales in a year, almost a year and a half.
Wow,
For last 2 weeks.
that's awesome.
So
That is awesome. I had a follow-up question, but I can't think of it now.
nobody wants to talk about real estate though.
I know. Apparently, I don't either. The question just slipped out of my head. Man, okay. Well, I'm not going to drag this on trying to figure it out. You're live on the air, but we'll just move on to the next question. All right. So one of my favorite segments of the show is my Q&A. We get some people to send in some questions through the internet, through Facebook, Instagram, apparently Twitter or X, whatever it is now.
Oh yeah.
A whole bunch of places, YouTube, and some comments. I usually post a show ahead of time. People say, hey, I got a question. So I got some questions from Jessica that came in. First one is from Steve in Chattanooga, who asked, how do you keep encouraging others when you're still facing your own challenges?
I don't think the challenges are ever going to stop. I mean, until we reach heaven, then we're going to be in a world, and the world is filled with sin and turmoil and grief that you're going to have to fight through. So it's just being the light of the earth.
All right. Maria from Bristol, Virginia wants to know, what would you say to someone who feels like they've messed up too much to come back?
Oh, you're never too far gone. And that goes back to what I was saying, how God looks at us. You know, when you're a mother, you have your newborn baby, you can look at that baby and you're just filled with, you know, admiration and love to that child. And you're going to, you know, Gracie could do something massively wrong right now, and I'll still love her. You mean Joe, I will still love him. There's nothing that could take that love away, and that's how he looks at us. We're his children.
Yeah, and if you're watching this, Maria, there's 2 people on your screen right now. If you're listening to 2 voices that probably messed up way too much.
Yeah, I messed up a lot.
And we're back.
Yeah.
We're here. We're talking to you right now. It's proof that there's life on the other side of whatever you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
And if you need to connect, just feel free to reach out. We'll make a connection.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb in Johnson City wants to know, when you were in that low season, what was that first small step you took towards change? The thing that gave you a little hope?
Started seeking God. That's where the hope comes from. If you don't have God, you don't have hope. You gotta have God.
And Caleb, if you were asking for a really long, drawn-out answer on that question, you got the simplest, most powerful answer you can get.
Yep. It's all God.
All right. Teresa in Knoxville asked, how do you keep your faith strong when new struggles pop up?
I pray, and I keep reading the Bible.
Okay.
If you read the Bible every day, like you get in that habit, then stuff will pop up, and you'll be instantly reminded of the verse that will, just take over your thoughts. The bad thoughts that come in, you'll be reminded of that verse. Okay, I'm going to think that way. I'm going to think this instead, because that's the truth.
So I was going to ask if there is I've seen this happen before. I think I talked to Gracie about it when she was on. So is there ever a time where you're struggling or just whatever you're going through, and you open your Bible in the morning, and that passage just made the most sense for what you were going through?
Mm-hmm.
So I assume it happens a lot.
One time in particular, I can remember. I don't remember what you're going to have to call the passion, because I don't remember the verse, but in the beginning, after I had got sober, I struggled with a lot of regret
Mhm.
and that shame, you know. And so I was reading the Bible one day, and it said, it was talking about the, you know, drunkards, adulterers, will not inherit the kingdom of heaven. But then it was Paul talking to the church,
Mhm.
and he said, and such were some of you, but you were bought, paid for with a price, redeemed. So there is forgiveness.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter what you've done, you're never too far gone.
Well, yeah, that is powerful, and that's something you can go back to. It doesn't necessarily have to be what you see that day. You find passages that you can connect with, and then just kind of remember and recite and go from there. Oh, I do remember the question now. Thank you. I was reading on that question. Your when we talk about coming on, your hesitation. I'm putting words in your mouth here. Hesitation of presenting this who you are with this new professional exterior of who you are, and seeing how people might judge you differently.
Yeah.
Now that you've been on and tell the story, how do you feel?
I had already kind of dismissed it. I said, basically, well, work with me or don't. You pay too much of a price for me. I'm going to do what he tells me to do. So.
Yeah. And by the way, you get a good deal on the house. So
yeah, call me up.
Well, we are almost at the top of the hour here. Jessica, I want to thank you for sharing your story.
Mm-hmm.
If you're listening out there and you feel like you're at the bottom, hear this. You are not too far gone. There is mercy for tomorrow, and there are people who will walk with you until you can see it for yourself. If you want to connect with Jessica, I'm assuming I'm putting it out there that people can connect with you. If you'd like people to connect with you, where can they find you to connect?
Facebook, you can call my cell phone. I don't know if you want to give out my cell phone.
That's yeah, I would just say connect on Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook, website, but yeah.
Just
Any of
connect.
that, even if it's, you know, it doesn't have to be real estate.
No,
If
absolutely.
you need someone to talk to.
Absolutely. If you can't find her on Facebook, just look up any one of my posts on my page, and there's usually a harder like for her, and you can connect that way. And that's great. Or you can look up this episode, she's tagging that too, and you can find her that way. So there you go. And remember, out there, you can always join our free community at theprosperitylounge.com. If you felt inspired by the episode, or you know someone going through pain themselves, share the episode with them. This one act can have a profound, lasting impact on their journey. That's planting that seed.
Mm-hmm. Plant seed.
So until next time, everybody, stay faithful, stay fearless, and remember, freedom lives where faith and action meet. The lounge is always open, and so is your next breakthrough. This is the Prosperity Lounge. Good job.
Good.
Fantastic.
The nerves went away. That's God too.
Well, we've got some people in the chat here saying hi to you. You got Patricia. Patricia, good?
I don't know who.
You're saying hi to you. That's some great stuff here. And look at all these comments.
Oh.
Yeah. A lot of people in here. A lot of comments. Sherry said, thank you so much for joining. Where was the good one here? Something about God first. Yeah. Personal relationship with Christ.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. There's a lot of religious people.
That's what I tell people. You don't have to go to church so much. You're still finding out there and and connecting and stuff. So
yeah.
That's about it. All right, everybody. Have a good night. See you next week. Thanks for joining.